want to take you on a journey with me. I'm going to bring you back to my childhood. I'm going to share with you what I was like as a little girl. There's not a lot of things that you can say you remember when you grew up. But I knew 3 things as a little girl. And I knew them without a doubt. Absolutely, 100%. The first thing that I knew without a doubt was that when I got older, I was going to make a difference to people in their hearts. I had no idea what that was going to look like, but I knew I was going to do it. And if you asked me what I was going to be, I didn't know, but I was going to change the world. The second thing that I knew was that I was going to meet a fabulous man. I was going to get married, and together we were going to have 6 children. 3 girls and 3 boys. Okay, so some things didn't stick, but I definitely knew that that was going to happen when I was a little girl. The last thing that I knew, and I knew this beyond a shadow of a doubt, that no matter what God put me through in my life, that he would never put me through anything that I wasn't strong enough to handle. I don't know how I knew that, but I knew it. And it was solid, and it kept me strong. So this first thing I had to do is I had to find a husband. So I started looking. And when I was 12 years old, I met this great guy. He was 18. Not a really good idea to get started. So I thought, I can't date him. He's too old. But you know what? We became really fast friends because my dad was friends with a neighbor down the street, and we got to hang out. And I think he thought of me more as a little sister, which is okay because things can change, right? And they did. Kai became one of my best friends. And growing up, I could come to him with any problems that I was having with school, with work, with my parents, particularly my dad. But he was a great person to talk to. But he was still dating other people. And then one of his girlfriends got pregnant. I'm a little pissed off. However, it didn't work out in that relationship. And before she actually gave birth to this child, their relationship hit the pavement, blew up, exploded, and things didn't work out. Oh my gosh, that's just a terrible thing, isn't it? So, there's this baby in his world, and she was amazing. Now, I'm a little bit older now. I'm still in my teens. And he has this child, and him and I are fast friends. We go everywhere together, and of course we bring her with us. And I start developing this amazing relationship with this little girl. I started going to school, and I'm still hanging out with them. And at some point, when this little girl is 3 years old, we're going around, we're doing something, we're in the house, and she says, "But Mom, I don't want to." Okay. I looked at her, and I said, "Did you just call me Mom?" And I get that 3-year-old response, "Yeah." Like, duh, where are you? So, obviously I'm asking the wrong question here. Why did you call me Mom? Because you're my mom. Still not asking the right question. Okay, think. How do you know that I'm your mom? So here's the best answer. I know that you're my mom because you take me to the store to buy the pretty dresses. You never put knots in my hair. You taught me how to buckle my shoelaces. And you love me more than anyone else. Isn't that amazing? In that moment, it hit me. I'm a mom. And in that moment, Kai pulled out a ring and asked me to marry him. got my husband, got my start on my kids. Pretty awesome life. The following March, there was a massive car accident. I lost my husband and my daughter. I lost my husband within 2 days, and I lost my daughter within 6 days. But long before she was lost in life, I was told that she was brain dead. I am not yet 18 years old. I am just a little girl. I have hospitals calling me about insurance. I have funeral directors calling me about funerals. I have doctors asking me about organ transplants. And this is way too much for me to handle, so I left. And at the time, I had anchored myself properly in Michigan, and I had created life for myself. I had walked away from my family here to go be independent there. And when all of this happened, I couldn't think of anything else to do, so I ran away. And I came to London, Ontario, which is where I'm from. And I pretended none of this ever happened. I took some classes, I made some new friends, and I met my current husband. And in the middle of all this, I had a baby. There's lots of stuff going on in my life. So I met my husband, and he knew me for 3.5 years before he even knew that there was a previous husband and daughter in my life. And I didn't tell him because I didn't think about it, because I didn't think it mattered. But I wasn't connecting to him. Now, I stand before you, I have a 20-year-old son and a fabulous husband. We kind of nixed the 5 more kids, but that's okay, they're expensive. My son's 20 years old, and until I started preparing for this MoMondays talk, my 20-year-old could count on one hand how many times I had mentioned that he had a sister. In fact, until I prepped for this talk, he did not even know her name. Her name is Amrika, and we called her Amy, and I called her Miss Mimi. And I lost all of the happy things that I did with her because I didn't talk about her. So in preparing for this talk, I got to share all sorts of stories with my current husband and my son about his sister. Everything from her banging pots on Christmas morning, announcing to the house that we all needed to get our butts downstairs to start the day. I'm sure it had nothing to do with presents. But I wasn't connecting to them on that level. In fact, Christmas was the best time of year for us. It was the most amazing time of year, and when they passed away, I went 20 years without celebrating Christmas in my house. So we had Christmas, but we didn't do a Christmas tree. We put presents in a pile in the corner. We went to everybody else's house, but we never actually did Christmas in my house. In preparing for this MoMondays talk, which is amazing to me, I had the first Christmas with my family where my husband and my son got to decorate a Christmas tree and make hot chocolate and sing Christmas carols. And it was amazing. And the best part was sharing stories about Amy with my son, who drinks it up because it's an amazing piece. So here's what happened. When my life fell apart, I took all the bad things that I was afraid to think about because it hurt, and I put it in this little box, and I put it in the closet, and I locked the closet, I locked the room, I walked away from the house because it's an ugly box, and I don't want to deal with it. I hate it. But when I took that box out and I threw it on the floor in front of my family, who loves me no matter what, they didn't see it as ugly as I did. And all these beautiful things started springing from this ugly box, like time with my family and stories about my daughter and an amazing connection with my family that I never knew I was missing. What I got is that we all have an ugly box. So I'm challenging you today to take a look in your closet And you can only do it because nobody else knows the ugly box is there, right? We keep that really well hidden. 20 years later, there are people who are going, you had a husband and daughter? I never knew. And I'm like, that's okay, you're in good company. Neither did my husband and son. But if you go into your closet and you pull out that ugly box and throw it on the floor in front of your family and friends, I promise you, you will get these amazing gifts out of that box that you never knew were possible, and they will not see it anywhere near as ugly as it looks. Thank you for having me tonight.